I've been thinking and praying about sharing my personal experience and reflections of these past few weeks during the pandemic crisis. The thought of doing so both terrifies me and at the same time draws me closer into acting on it. So God surely must be at work in me because He helps me conquer all my fears and doubts. The virus hit and our community was being shut down. As a result, my personal world was coming to a screeching halt. I didn't realize how many directions I was being pulled in my life until everything was very suddenly being taken away. I found myself with a lot of time on my hands, and I have to admit, there was also a sense of relief. It was like I'd just gotten off a hamster wheel. I felt God's presence in all of this, and I was compelled to embrace this time as somewhat of retreat. It seems that I'm the person on the front lines, called to difficult situations, and that can be quite a struggle and a challenge for me. These are times in my life when God's grace and mercy are most evident. He is boundless. But in this particular time of crisis, I've sensed God's quiet, very calm presence, and for some reason, this time He's not calling me to the front lines. My crisis reflex is to grab my weapon and prepare for battle, whatever it has to look like. Not this time, though. Self-quarantining has been my new responsibility. I have to ask myself, could God actually be calling me to prayer? God knows I don't always articulate well when it comes to praying, but thank goodness He knows my heart. I have to work through my fear, anxiety, and doubt of the unknown. He knows this is always my first reaction. I've gotten better at recognizing the enemy in this, and I more readily release this to the Father, and I trust in Him. So, throwing caution to the wind, I'm embracing this newfound time to retreat and delve deeper into God's goodness. I follow daily scriptures, daily mass, and I'm doing a little reading and a lot of journaling. The greatest reward has been to sit and be still and just be in relationship with God, my Father. This is all He wants for me. He wants me to stop doing what I'm doing and just rest in His loving rest. Sometimes I sit at His feet and I imagine I'm Mary Magdalene. He weeps with me as I grieve whatever it is I have to leave behind in order to be present with Him. The things I need to leave behind can be good things in and of themselves, but they may be things that distract me from what God is calling me to do. I've really had to think about what this looks like in my everyday life. For me personally, I've put my salon business on hold. My sacristan responsibilities are scaled back to skeleton crew status. My mom is in a nursing facility. I'm guardian for a man in a group home, and I can't see either one of them. My adult kids are working from their homes, and we broke quarantine to be together for Easter Sunday. My husband is fortunate to go back to work this week. Many of his co-workers have been furloughed. This is a time of transformation for me. God has always chosen the powerless, the outsiders, and the people on the bottom to work through. Jesus hung out with the outsiders and the powerless. Peter dropped his nets and left everything behind. God is allowing me to know what it feels like to be powerless, an outsider, and on the bottom. This is the place that I want to glorify God. So, here I am, Lord. I'm sitting in relationship with you. You've taken away everything that distracts me from you. Let my heart assent to glorify you. Grant me the grace to discern what needs to change in my life as I begin the process of putting my life back together with new perspective from the bottom. Help me to recognize and know your mercy in all things. Help me always to ask for your grace and allow it to overflow. Allow me to rest in your rest and lead me to purity of heart. It is such providence that this timing would coincide with the liturgical season of Lent and Easter, when we die to self and rise to new life with Christ. And now, here we are on the cusp of spring, just waiting to burst forth. Such physical signs of hope for us. It is palpable. Lord, your mercy is woven throughout. Let this be just one of the many outward signs that you are very close to the brokenhearted. Amen.